Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Got a little pullback yesterday, little pullback. All retest gap. I think pretty standard day. I don't no real panic attack on the selling. We did end lower than we opened, but we'll see what we're doing today. We'll see what we're doing today. What I do know. We got Andrew in the house. Good morning to you. We got Al. We got Albert. Brian. Good morning. Fabrice. Good morning. Jay. Joe. JT. We got Kevin rocking with us. Good morning to Lauren. Martina. Micah's good morning. We got Remco. Wally. Good morning to all my peeps out in YouTube land. We got Brian. We got Craig. Good morning to all you guys. Let's see what is moving in the market. Oh, my lurkers in the background of YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that little thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Things that people say to do. Remco, I got you in two places. Oh no, you got Craig in YouTube land. He's saying plug. Remco saying plug. I have not seen plug this morning. All right, the saying is back alive, back from the dead. We'll see. There's a couple zombies coming out of the grave today. We'll get to those in a second, but we do have the spy, so that is a little bit of a gap and go from the close of yesterday. Still inside yesterday's candle, and to me, all those VPOCs moving up nice and bullishly, good trend still. I just still hate to be bearish in this market. I think it's that's a tough one. But see if we get, just because it is inside day, we'll see if we can get a little bit of pullback at open for 84.01, somewhere 484 even, something like that. If we get that little pullback, and that could happen pre-market, it might be a little bit more choppy than we want, but I'd still be leaning a little bit more bearish. Let's see if the Q's got any info for us. The Qs we got similar thing. We are still gapping above yesterday's VPOC. That's good. It is a gap and go. And Netflix today after earnings does have or after the bell today does have earnings. So maybe some tech could get affected. Maybe the Qs and the SPY both could get affected, both either bullish or bearish, depending on how those come out after the bell today. We'll have to see, but that's going to be the big earnings for today. Otherwise, we still got till 4 p.m. today. Somebody in Slack, we traded Tesla yesterday, and they were just kind of mistaken on when the Tesla earnings were, but we took a trade on Tesla yesterday. And just FYI, so their comment was, hey, is it fine to day trade? Like, is that normal to day trade on a day of earnings? The answer is yes. So the Tesla earnings is not till tomorrow night, I believe, but I don't think they're tonight. I think they're tomorrow. I'd have to check, but the answer is yes. If you're day trading, you can still day trade because you're out before the info comes out, right? So just FYI, we could still trade Netflix today if we could get a good setup. Typically, I don't like trading. I'm not a huge fan of trading something on the day that earnings comes out because it could get a little bit wonky just as people set in other positions and things like that. But the answer is just yes. You could. I wouldn't open a new swing trade on the day of earnings for sure. But you could. I mean, there's going to be people kind of positioning themselves bullish, bearish. You're going to see some higher volatility in options. So all that's true. But just wanted to cover that. But yeah, TLT. So this one. The rest of the market looks bullish. TLT is gapping down. Keep in mind, this is still a retest day yesterday. I kind of wish this one would have held today, but we're retesting into Friday's candle. I'd like to treat that a little bit more like a gap and go. You did have your gap up. I'm okay with the almost a failed gap and go just because you do have this green candle from Friday. But that's a little weaker than I'd like to see. At a major support though, so maybe TLT could get a bounce. If we start to lose TLT, we might slip a little bit. Let's check out this plug you guys keep preaching about. Yeah, pretty nice gap up. Was this on news? They opened that new plant. Shares are trading higher on Monday amid overall market strength. The stock has fallen significantly, dropping nearly 40% over the past month. Trust me, I know. Last week, Plug Power submitted a regulatory filing which revealed the company had signed, the $1 billion worth of common stock. That wouldn't cause it to go up, though, following the offer. Key banks said She expects an announcement to pressure the stock further as the company faces multiple headwinds. Yada yada yada. Plug player shares are moving slightly higher on heavy trading volume. Plug price action according to Nzinga Pro. Plug power shares are up 4.4 at 270. This is an old article. Today's the 22nd or no? I don't think so, right? Yeah, today's 23rd. So I'm not sure why the bounce. I don't see anything specifically on the bounce. Decent move. It has squeeze potential. Yeah, you're right on that. Let's go Finviz. Let's see. Plug. I mean, you got a good 29% short float. That would do the trick. I don't know how crazy the squeeze is going to be. So you are opening at a little bit of resistance. If you wanted to attempt the squeeze, ignore the noise right in the first like 3 to 5 minutes, just to see what happens, because there could be easy bull traps, bear traps. That is like, in one sense, the squeeze is phenomenal. Like that is a high short float. The other end of it is, if we're not really breaking through key spots, the shorts could want to protect their positions. I don't know if this is enough of a gap for crazy short squeeze. So I don't know. I mean, coming into the fact that we're above this little zone, at least for now at the open, that's a great sign for potential squeeze. We are squeezing out maybe this candle, this candle. You got some decent volume on some of these things. Obviously, if anybody's shorted here or was weaker in there, you have a few days where you could start to squeeze people and this thing could start to pick up. But I'd say, just if people are building out short positions, there's a lot more time for people to get short in here, and these people are going to want to try to protect their position. So just be careful on going on the squeeze on this one. 29% is a high short float. I almost want to see some kind of a pullback first and then start to pick up. But I also don't see any catalyst as to why we'd squeeze either. So just be careful on the squeeze play. If this thing was gapping up a little bit higher, yeah, I would say that 29% is going to, unless they all go in diamond hands and they got some gorilla room chat going on that I don't know about. But just be careful on this one. Definitely one to watch, though. One to put on the list. Also, for day trade purpose, it is still under $5. But if you wanted to start to look for some kind of, I mean, the company's, it's not my favorite. They did do that $1 billion offering too. So be careful on that one. All right. We got Coinbase, COIN. I don't see any, unless TradingView just did an update. There we go. Coin's still down a little bit. I got one little level of safety that should hold this thing up. Little support, 120.77. So see if that one starts to break. Otherwise, this is a gap and go from yesterday. I would expect probably a little bit more bearish pressure. I think crypto's kind of down right now. I know that we're supposed to get that halvening coming out in, what is it, April and end of March, something like that. But for right now, I'd like to see this one fall a little bit further. This is a fast and furious move, and so far, I don't really see crypto moving yet. I think I had some levels down here, somewhere around this like 109, 110 zone. It's really where really the first spot I kind of want to look is like 114. Get down a little bit lower, and then I think buying some positions all the way down would make sense on Coinbase for the next kind of crypto move. But very strong move. This is a good pullback, and kind of on the edge. Got some moving averages to save us, but I would love to see a little bit lower into that like 109 shelf, 109.35 ish. For day trade purpose, I'll be watching this 120.77. If that starts to break, the next level down, I think somewhere in this, you probably get to this 116, something like that. But also inside day from yesterday as well, or not yesterday. Inside day from 2 days ago, you do have some bullish buying there, and you are still at support. So I think be patient. If it starts to break, you get a 10 EMA, something like that, to play that one bearish. Potentially, we got Netflix. they had so they one they had a CEO. It wasn't a CEO, but some guy top board. He was kind of starting his own deal, his own entertainment company. So he left. It's not a huge deal. The other one, the other news on Netflix is they did acquire the rights for what is it, Monday Night Raw, I believe. So they picked up the WWE, some contracts for that, but or they have a contract or agreement with the WWE. I do think that's huge news. Uh, I haven't watched the WWE in a while, but I know family members and friends who are still, uh, they're not kids, but they grew up with it and they still watch all of it. They still know the storylines. They still know what's going on, and they have diehard fans for the WWE. So I do think that is a huge news. The other thing I think is that the WWE is kind of just the testing grounds for what can come for Netflix. Obviously, they have brand recognition, but once you start talking, hey, we got some MLB games, we got maybe we've already seen Amazon kind of start to work in the streaming on Prime. You did see Peacock starting to run that last Kansas City game 2 weeks ago, and you could only have Peacock to stream. So I do think live sports is looking at live streaming as an avenue. Netflix got WWE, is not the biggest one, but I think there is some diehard fans that will pick up some subscriptions. I also think none of this matters. I think none of this matters for today, at least. Longer term, it's good. Um, but I think none of this matters for right now, just because by 4 o'clock today, I think probably 4:05, 4:15. I'm not sure the exact time, but we will get Netflix earnings, and that's going to weigh out a lot. Um, I'm hoping Netflix dips on earnings. I wish I could tell you Netflix is going to skyrocket or just drop to the floor. I have no idea. But uh, if Netflix drops to a decent price and I think they look stronger, I wouldn't mind buying some shares. I actually sold my shares. I got in at like 212, something like that. Sold out right around 500. I think it's like 495, something like that. So I'm out. I'll let it do its thing, and then if it wants to pull back, great. Just the valuation up here, a little rich for me, and then I'll try to buy back some shares on the way down if we could get it. But I'm all out of Netflix. I don't have any more positions. Kind of rode it to the top. I started struggling with the 500. I said, you know what, we're up over 100% on the play already, so let it do its thing, and there's try to find some other companies with some good valuation. Actually, what I think I did is rotate that money into this one other company, which is Baba, also getting some news today. So I took some of the I took the gains on Netflix, kind of rotated it over into another just dead horse, just beat up. Lots of geopolitical concerns and worries, and I'm just looking at valuation. I'm like, yeah, I mean, anything can happen at any point. I can't. What am I gonna do? But two things on this one. All Chinese companies, all Asian stocks might be moving a little bit. I didn't really have a chance to look at the other ones. Just I did see Baba today though. Uh, we have China coming in with a was it $278 billion potential stimulus package. So yeah, you got JD moving a little bit. You got Baidu moving a little bit as well, probably. Yep. So nice little gap up on Baidu. Watch some of the Asian names. $278 billion. Be careful with the news. It's not confirmed yet. They're just throwing around the idea. They didn't confirm the stimulus package yet to help kind of boost the economy, boost the stock market for them. But I think out of all the Chinese companies' names, the one to really focus on is Baba, because it does have a little double whammy on it. You do have Jack Ma, who you guys probably know, but I don't know if he's still the CEO technically of Alibaba, but definitely on the board to some extent. He is also buying some Baba finally. So you have Jack Ma starting to buy it. You do have some good potential news. Again, it's not confirmed with the stimulus package yet, and maybe in 2 hours from now, it comes out that was no, we're not doing it yet, and that's why we have stops in place. But I think out of all of them, I think Baba's the one to focus on for today. It's already up pretty decent, but these things are just in the gutter. It's got lots of room to go. I don't know what the short float is on Baba currently, but let's see that one. Baba short float, not huge. So yeah, if you're looking for that squeeze, probably stick with plug. But At least you got some kind of, this is really the first positive news we've seen out of China in a while. And then, like I said, out of all the companies, probably Bob is the one to focus on. So I will be watching that one very closely for day trades as well. We got PG is first. Procter and Gamble. Ooh, is that earnings? They beat earnings per share by 8.4%. They missed on revenue by 35 million. Looks like the market is going to go all Taylor Swift and shake it off, but that is a decent looking gap. What I would be concerned with is you do have a little bit of resistance up at 152.58. So, really nice gap over that pivot. I'm just concerned for me with targets. Beautiful double bottom on this daily, though. Actually, no, when you zoom out, you just got massive support down there. You do have this one might be one for considering for the long term. I'm going to look into some numbers after I get off the mic today, but we've been just sideways chopping forever. Good support. That one's been holding. We've done nothing but do lower highs. And now this is our first gap up. I don't know if today is the day we just skyrocket and go crazy. I think that resistance is going to come into play. But if over time this one comes back down and we start looking at like 150, and like I said, I'll run some numbers for myself just to see if this is something that I'd be interested in getting into. Check out the divvies, check out the cash flow, all that stuff. But yeah, if it comes back down to 150-ish, somewhere into 150.28, just knowing that this is the first, especially however this candle wants to close, I want some kind of retest pullback and then look to start creating new higher highs. This would be our first kind of higher low we've had a while. It just didn't really make it down to that support. So it's not a bad looking play for day trade. I just don't know what's going to happen at that resistance. But if you guys think it could break out and it looks strong, might be worth a shot. All right, we got UAL. Let's see. My trading view does not want to put up my pre-market pricing. Does give me time to drink some coffee though. Did you see UAL CEO comments about Boeing? No. I can't imagine that they were too kind though. I didn't see them. I didn't. Let me know what he said on that one. Jerry. We got UAL. A little bit of a gap up here. This is on earnings. Actually, pretty decent earnings. So they beat earnings per share by 18%. They also beat on the rev side of things by 76 million. That's not bad for UAL. You do have a lot of volume yesterday. That might just be from the earnings, though. And then the other candle that we haven't really cleared yet, which is just the most noticeable volume, is the one back from January 12th. So for this thing to really start going, we're going to have to clear this 42.63. The other thing I'd like to do is just in sense of where this thing opens. Are we at like a 50 or 618 retracement that might cause us a little bit of a headache? So we're slightly above the 50. Maybe look for targets into like this 41.91. So again, not sure if that's a huge gainer, but I think that's where the upside probably starts to come in, and we do have some resistance up there as well. So just be careful on that one. Although pretty good earnings, you are breaking out. It maybe if you get a good high wave where your spread is not that big from your entry to your stop, and you could take a break, that might be worth it. You might be able to get the 60 cents on this one. But I think we start to hit some kind of resistance unless this market goes absolutely crazy. Which so far this year, not bad. He blamed loss on grounding the max 9, wants to cancel max 10 order. How's Bone feel about that one? Where's this pre-market? There it is. They're actually gapping up still. Boeing got some good lawyers. They're like, nah, you at least can't get your deposits back. All right, let me see. I got DKNG. What, I got 9 minutes left. DraftKings. Probably still looks good for continuation. There could be some better names out there, but right now everything is still looking pretty bullish on DraftKings. We're gonna have to fight through these heavy kind of resistance zones. The probably stretch goal for today would be about 38.76. I'll call it 38.92. I think the trend is all still bullish, but we do have to interact with this kind of spot. We do have a wide open retest gap, never really came down and retested. Most likely what I think happens on this one, and for today for a day trade, I mean, it's anybody's game, but it's a technically gap and go inside day, probably struggle bust for here for a little bit. Then I think we get that pullback right around Super Bowl-ish. Maybe I think we dip under here. And then if we're going to break, I think that's the opportunity to do so. That's how I would think, just with that's an obvious sell spot right there. Somewhere in here, people are going to take their profits and probably get that pullback before the next run up. So might not be too exciting. We do have earnings coming out very soon. I mean, we got some time, but February 15th, right around Super Bowl time. Not that Super Bowl numbers are going to be included in there, but you got the Gronk kick of destiny coming. So, oh, that's FanDuel actually. That's FanDuel. Yeah. Nah, they all they got is Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's not kicking a football. Netflix we did cover already. Let me go to AMD and then we'll try to roll back through Netflix. Netflix is just gonna be wonky because of the earnings coming out today, but pretty nice gap. Good news with the WWE. And I'll go through actually one more point on Netflix too, just because you brought it up. But AMD, nothing too crazy. I think there's got a little bit more downside potential here, at least into this 162.25. Obviously, we've been massively bullish. Even the VPOC yesterday closed bullish. I think there's going to be buy the dips. Not a great open for it. We are at what was that? Friday's pretty much opening price, so maybe that holds it. But we got two different resistance above us at this point. I would be looking for like a 162.25, and then if things could get crazy on the AMD side of things, I think 158.01 is a potential target. But I'd probably shave a couple shares if you're playing that to the short side. The other thing I would look for too, technically this is at a decent support. It's opening. I think we probably get a run up at open, and maybe your better opportunity to short somewhere around this 167.95. I'd probably try to see if I'm patient on that one, because you do have Friday's open right here. You still have inside day. We got the lows of yesterday to kind of give us a little extra support as well. So I think that if that one runs up, that's cool. Joey Lewis says, "Is this Jonathan?" I don't know who Jonathan is, but no, this is DJ Dan. We have a Johnny, but he's actually off for 2 weeks too. He's off for 2 weeks, but who's the other Johnny? There's a famous the magician, something, the Jonathan, the amazing Jonathan. That's what that name reminds me of. I don't know why. DHI. Oh, that's not good. That's earnings. It's the early sign of the housing crisis being inevitable. We got not a horrific miss on earnings per share, and then the revenue was decent, so it wasn't a complete train wreck on DHI. I did not listen to this call though, and I'd be very curious to see what their guidance was, because they are one of the, if not the largest home builders. And if they were kind of guiding some weakness coming out, which, like I said, the Beige report, there seemed to be a little bit of a weakness in there. 148.57. You're into support. This thing looks a little bit weak. I think we're starting to trap people. We're up massive already. I mean, it's not like even if the earnings were good, which they weren't, the revenue was good, the earnings per share. This looks like a little bit short to me. Be careful of that opening morning chop on this one. But it looks like it had to be priced for perfection on the earnings, and it doesn't look like we hit that. So I think this one probably at least pulls back a little bit, maybe to like this 136.46. Not, I don't think for today, but maybe today if we start to really lose some of these. I would say probably today we're looking at 148.35. If we start to lose that zone, then we're probably coming a little bit lower down to like 140, and that would be your play. Should be trapping some bulls, couple bulls, nothing too crazy, but with a little bit of a miss, not really priced for perfection. Lots of people profitable. I think that puts some more extra weakness onto DHI, VZ. Verizon Communication. Trade my trading views are slow. There's a earnings miss. Earnings missed by less than a penny, 0.09%. Pretty killer revenue though, 502. So not bad there. You're starting to hit your next volume area somewhere around 4105. And then the next bracket, so 4187. I think this one probably plays a fade as well. You also have a few days of buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row, although not a lot of progress, but you did have 6 green days in a row. Nice little gap up. See if you get a pullback, or if you want to fade it, probably looking for a fade down to $40.18. Most likely I would take profits there and then look to potentially either go long or maybe get better pricing somewhere around 39.35, but pretty decent gap into slight volume area, so that's going to cause a little bit of probably some selling into that zone. But yeah, especially if this one, if you get a good green candle at the open, you want to go short on Verizon, that might not be a bad play as well. What, I got 2 minutes left. All right, we got Disney from my peeps in YouTube land. We got, I'm gonna take the full 2 minutes from my chart to give me my pre-market. Wow, Disney had a really good close yesterday. I didn't even see that. Yeah, look for continuation on this one. We should have. I got one little spot right here. I don't think that's a big deal at all. We already hit that yesterday, and then we're looking for about 96.08 would be my initial target. I'm gonna scoot this one up on the list a little bit. Again, would like to see. We did have a lot, 3 days of decent buying on Disney, so I wouldn't mind seeing like a red little slight pullback, give you some better risk reward. But I think we could probably get some continuation on Disney. Yeah, even in the longer sense, probably like 99.10. Not sure if that's possible today, but kind of looking for that continuation. So small little pullback on Disney, not too bad. Netflix again, just because we were asked about it. But yeah, it's got a good gap up. You do have earnings today too, so think about psychology for a minute. If you were buying Netflix anywhere else, you did have an opportunity. You didn't get out at the 500. And we've already seen, I think this gap to like 503, 504 pre-market, and we've already kind of sold off a little bit. Obviously down to back under 500. You missed those 2 opportunities to sell, and you're profitable. You don't want to sit through the earnings today. You want to see what happens. This might be actually an opportunity for you to take some of those gains and just lock it in. But otherwise, you have support coming in 582, 583, somewhere in that zone. Everybody out there on YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. There was like 1 or 2 maybe I missed on the YouTube list. I apologize, but we'll cover them tomorrow for you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe.